Rite Aid?
John McManus for writing. That's correct.
Oh, your matter was 30 minutes ago.
I know. I'm very sorry. I was having computer issues and I just got it cleared up. I apologize. Did Mr. Garrow attend?
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Bureau attend. They made a motion for a default judgment, which was granted.
Default judgment for what? I don't understand. There's an answer.
He didn't appear.
Well, okay, I didn't appear. That wasn't on purpose. It was certainly a mistake. There's an answer to the
Well, that
complaint.
happens all. You're an attorney. You know how this works. If the plaintiff files a lawsuit and the defendant doesn't appear, they can request a default judgment, and that means you don't even have to put on a defense. You didn't appear.
Well, that may be true, Your Honor. However, I thought this was a pretrial conference to schedule dates.
No, it was a pretrial conference, but if you don't appear for the pretrial conference, then the other party can make a motion for default judgment. Vice versa, if you were the plaintiff and they didn't appear, if you were the defense and the plaintiff didn't appear, the defense can request to have the case dismissed for lack of progress. So it's the same way. Same way, I know you've appeared for court before, and as a plaintiff and a defendant didn't appear, and you requested a default judgment before. That I know that's happened.
I have not done that in 30 years, not without having communications with the other party, or at least giving an opportunity for a reasonable explanation why the person didn't appear at the exact set time. I'm not.
Listen, I don't believe in 30 years you've never requested a default judgment unless you found out why the person didn't appear. And we waited for more than 30 minutes. And so I don't buy that. That I don't buy. I don't have a problem with setting it for another pretrial because you did appear due to some technicalities, but don't try to feed me you've never requested a default judgment before.
Well, I have filed requests for default judgment, certainly, but not at a pretrial conference where somebody had a reasonable excuse why they weren't there for 30 minutes.
You wouldn't know why they weren't there. You wouldn't know at the time that you made the.
That may be true, Your Honor. However, I would not do that on the very first meeting with a person that I have no prior relationship with whatsoever. In this case, an answer was filed. Discovery has begun. I've attempted to work with them on this case, knowing they're pro se. I have bent over backwards with them.
They were quick to they were quick to request a default judgment.
Oh, I'm sure that they were, but that's certainly within the.
And under the circumstances, it would be granted because I don't know why you're not here. And you are the professional. You know how to contact a court if you're having technical difficulties.
That's very true, Your Honor. And I apologize. I said I had technical difficulties and I was contacting my office. I mean, that's fine. I'll just file a motion to set aside and we'll go from there.
You don't need to do that. I have no problem with setting it for a new date is what I said.
Well, I understand, but if there's a default judgment, then I have to have it that has to be set aside before we can go forward.
It's not been entered. They've not submitted it yet.
Very well. Thank you. I appreciate that. I would like another pretrial.
The civil department will set it for a new pretrial. Both you and the other parties will be mailed a new date.
And I would suggest to the court that in the interim, again, knowing that they're pro se, I have attempted with all fairness to assist them understanding what's going to be required in a case like this and how best to help themselves.
What is your suggestion to the court?
It's not a suggestion. I just said that I have been attempting to work with them, understanding that they're pro se.
Okay, that's wonderful. My suggestion is that you contact the court if you're going to be 30 minutes late.
Oh, I apologize, of course, Your Honor, and it's on me, certainly. However, I'm not trying to waste anybody's time. It was a technical difficulty and I attempted, I couldn't get any service. So I couldn't even, my phone wasn't even working. So I apologize.
Thank you. Have a good one, sir.
Thank you very much.